Hello. So I did another video about benzo withdrawal, but I kind of wanted to just make a few where I focus on different categories of the horrible things that happen. So I kind of did a in general video about the withdrawal, but today I'm going to talk about derealization and depersonalization. So that happens and still happens after 3 years off. And I was on for 9 years. So depersonalization is when you feel like your own thoughts and your own who you are, you kind of don't feel like that's real, and you don't even know if they're your thoughts, and you don't even know if you're you. I think that's kind of pretty much what that means. And then depersonal or derealization is when your surroundings and the stuff going on around you can seem fake. So either whether it's people or actions that are happening or objects. So I'm going to go into detail about how these things affected me. So first I'm going to talk about the derealization. So I remember a couple people telling me that my withdrawal was going to feel like schizophrenia, like someone who had a schizophrenic episode. Because the people that told me had that before, and they said it's like that, but it's also people have also described it to me as a bad acid trip. And so I understand what they mean, because some of the first things I noticed when I first started to be able to sit up and walk around was that things looked extremely fake to me. But I knew that would happen because people told me, so thankfully I already knew, and I was preparing myself, because I remember I watched Pretty Little Liars when I was tapering, and before that, I watched all the seasons of Pretty Little Liars. I don't remember how I watched them. I probably watched them on Netflix and then got Hulu and then went to my parents to borrow their DVR. I don't remember. But I for some reason got addicted to that show. And so now I don't watch anything, but I watched that show. It's kind of really weird because I watched that, and I don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't seen it yet. So I don't even know if I can go there. Okay, spoiler alert for Pretty Little Liars, and I'm going to talk about it really quickly. So just skip 3 minutes or something if you care. But there's a part where I won't go into too much detail because I don't want to ruin it, but there's a part where they're in rooms and their stuff from their house is there with them, but it's not their room, but it's been made to look like their room, and so it's not real stuff. It's their phone. It's one of the girls has a phone, but it's a dollhouse phone. It's not a real phone, but it's her phone from her room. So it's just a replica, but it's a cheap everything's fake. So it's not their real rooms. It's not their real stuff. So that's kind of what I can compare it to. Honestly, I can kind of compare how it felt to that, because I would look outside and the sky was honestly horrifying to me at first. I realized that anything could come out of it at any time, and I was afraid that the sky was just going to fall on me, just collapse. I don't know why. But when I would look outside, trees would look fake. The street would look fake, the cars would look fake. And then even this one time when I was able to actually go downstairs and walk outside, which it was hard, it felt like somebody was holding on to the front of me with their arms around my neck, just hanging on me with all of their weight. I was leaning forward walking. It felt like somebody was just attached to me. It was actually really scary. But I remember that I kept walking anyway, and my husband helped me go outside, and I reached down to touch the snow, and I looked at it, and it looked and felt so fake, and I felt like God just as a joke sprinkled some fake snow down to make us happy. And then I quickly was telling myself it's not fake, it's real snow. You're just perceiving things weird, because when you go off of benzos, it affects the GABA receptors. While you're on them too, it literally gets rid of them. And so when you go off, it's like a computer shutdown and restart. So you, like, your vision is affected and, like, your brain. So when you see something that you've seen a lot of times, you perceive it wrong. Like, you perceive it really weird. And it can seem very fake and weird. So I just kept having to tell myself, like, the sky is fine, and, like, the trees are not fake, and, like, the snow is not fake, and, like, my family is real, and stuff like that. So that was the main derealization stuff that I dealt with. Oh, I also still deal with some stuff. So I'll talk about what I deal with now before I talk about depersonalization. But now, like, I know that there are other countries in the world, of course. I know that the world is huge, and, like, I know everything I've been taught and everything. But when you get this brain damage, it can make things confusing. So on an intellectual level, I know there's other countries. I know I could get on a plane and travel to one, and I know that I have before, but it seems kind of crazy and fake to me. I don't like to use the word crazy, so just, I don't say that. I'm trying not to, but, like, it seems so strange to me that there's, like, other countries that I could go to still. Like, I could go to China, even though in my mind, like, I feel like that's not possible. So it's hard to explain. And then even though I went to Grand Cayman one time, there's, like, part of my mind that tells me that, like, the earth isn't as big as I think it is, and, like, all, like, there's not as many countries as they say, and, like, there's not as many people in the world. Like, there's just weird derealization stuff that goes on. Like, when my husband says he's going to another state for army stuff, I'm like, okay, like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, planes don't make sense. Like, how can you get on a plane and go somewhere on a plane? Like, that makes no sense to me now. I haven't been on a plane since I went off. I used to go on planes all the time. Not all the time, but, like, I've moved a lot in my life, and I have visited places, and then my grandparents were in California, so if we didn't live there, I always flew out there. So I used to, like, be fine. And then toward the end of being on benzos, I started really freaking out about planes. I would think that I was going to die if I got on a plane, so I would drink alcohol with my medicine. And then I would be pretty sedated, fine, not drunk or anything, but just pretty okay with getting on a plane and dying or something if that was going to happen. But now it's like, I don't even know how I would get on a plane because I don't even know how it's staying up in the air. But, and I don't know how it's going to go somewhere and land. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's, because I keep saying that word. It's strange. So that's some other stuff that can happen. And it makes me feel disconnected from other people because they haven't been off of the medication and they don't deal with the as much derealization probably, because I know I didn't really deal with it before. Like, I didn't feel like I didn't know what was going on with the earth and space. And now I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But I also feel like I don't have to know, so it's fine. And trees definitely look extremely real to me now. So, like, I don't deal with that. Like, I feel really connected with nature now. And, like, the stars and the trees and the water and grass and plants. I have, like, a lot of plants in my room. And I have pets. And I go out in nature all the time. I like to hike. I like kayaking. So now it's very real to me, and I've been connected with nature. But before, it was like, what is this made out of? Like, this is so weird. Like, am I even a person? I remember during Withdrawal, the hallucinations. This is relevant because I didn't know I was going to have hallucinations, but I was told that it's possible. But I just thought I'd see, like, some flashing lights or something. But I was watching The Office, trying to watch The Office with my husband, and Dwight came on the screen, and his face turned completely symmetrical, like, completely symmetrical. Like, you can Google, like, completely symmetrical face, like, where someone's taken it in a photo editing thing, and they show you, like, what it would look like if people's faces were completely symmetrical, and it's honestly really scary. But this is what Dwight looked like, and it wouldn't go away. I, like, kept staring. And his face just looked so strange. Like his eyes just like everything like moved around and then stuck that way. And he was very symmetrical. And so I had to stop watching things. I could not watch people. And then even my own kids and husband looked very bizarre. Like their eyelashes and their eyes blinking. I tried not to worry about it too much. And I just was alone a lot. I tried not to be around my family too much. It didn't bother me or make me angry or anything or cause any concern. It was just like, I hope this goes back to normal. And I would talk to the girl that helped me a lot. And I would tell her, like, my family's faces look really bizarre. And, like, I am trying not to look in the mirror. I covered all my mirrors for a certain amount of time because everybody's faces looked so strange to me. They did not look real. And right when Withdrawal had started, I thought, like, I thought that God had showed me what people's faces really look like. And I tried to explain to my husband how your mouth and your eyes are about the same. They're the same shape. They're kind of the same, like it's kind of like you have three eyes, but it's a mouth and you're like you can like talk and stuff, but I know what people's faces really look like now, and it's really strange. And I tried to show my husband, like, see how your mouth and your eyes are like the same shape, and I'm sure he thought that I was losing it at that point because I probably was, honestly. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff that happened, where I thought that I was being given like knowledge and like extra stuff that other people didn't know. I didn't feel prideful about it though. I I just felt confused. I had no idea why I was being shown like what people's faces really looked like. I think that's just the way I coped because I didn't know if it was going to go back to normal. So I thought I had been kind of the light had been shown on what people's faces really look like, and it's kind of a horror story thing, like where we thought we were good looking, but really, like, everyone's really scary. Like, that's what I thought. So I'm just trying to explain what kind of nightmare withdrawal is. But anyway, it did go back to normal. Every once in a while, I don't really watch anything. Every once in a while, if I see a picture of myself that's taken from a weird angle, or like I'm watching something and somebody's face is on the screen, I don't really watch things. I usually listen to podcasts, but and like YouTube stuff. But sometimes I can kind of see it starting again, and I just don't worry about it because every once in a while I can still see that. And every once in a while I still have had very slight hallucinations, but these are like flashing light type, like more like visual disturbances. Um, so yeah, that's the realization part. The depersonalization thing was like, it was really similar, but it was like, I felt like God had like already taken everyone to heaven and I was like stuck here, and it was like some kind of joke. And I also thought, like, I didn't believe these things, but like they came into my mind. Like, same thing with the thinking people's faces looks like this. Like, that, I believed that I was told that, but that didn't last very long. Like, after a couple days, I realized, like, this is just part of withdrawal, and I need to not lose it. I really felt like at any moment, my brain could just collapse. Like, I felt like my lungs could just get crushed. I felt like my throat could just close up and I could just stop breathing and die. Like, I felt like at any moment, I was just going to be, my brain was just going to disconnect. Everything was just going to disconnect, and I was just going to, like, disintegrate. It's hard to explain. So, I'm going to make a different one about the depersonalization, because this got too long.